Welcome to Star Bios, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating lives of Hollywood's most iconic stars. I'm your host, Casey Gold, and today we're shining the spotlight on the incomparable James Dean. With a career that spanned just 3 films, Dean left an indelible mark on American cinema, captivating audiences with his brooding intensity and effortless cool. But before he became the embodiment of teenage angst and rebellion, James Dean was just a small-town boy from Indiana, navigating the complexities of family, identity, and creativity. Let's take a journey back to the early life of James Dean, a period marked by both joy and tragedy. Born on February 8, 1931, in Marion, Indiana, James Byron Dean was the only child of Winton Dean and Mildred Wilson Dean. His father, a dentist, moved the family to Santa Monica, California, when James was just 9 years old, in search of better opportunities. However, this West Coast adventure was short-lived, as his parents divorced in 1939, and James returned to Indiana with his mother. The small town of Fairmount, Indiana, population around 2,500, would become James's home for the next several years. His mother's family, the Wilsons, were prominent in the community, and their farm on the outskirts of town became a sanctuary for James. It was here that he developed a deep love for nature, exploring the rolling hills and woods surrounding the farm, and tending to the animals that lived there. Tragedy struck when James was just 9 years old. His mother passed away from uterine cancer on July 14, 1940. This devastating loss would have a profound impact on James's life, shaping his relationships and informing his future choices. His father, remarried by this point, sent James to live with his aunt and uncle, Hortense and Marcus Winslow, in Fairmount. The Winslows provided a stable and loving environment for James, encouraging his creative pursuits and nurturing his sense of curiosity. James attended the Fairmount Public School, where he excelled in sports, particularly basketball and baseball. He was an active member of the school's drama club, participating in various stage productions that helped him hone his acting skills. His favorite subjects were English and history, which would later influence his approach to acting. James's early interests also included photography, which he learned from his father, and writing, which he explored through his love for poetry. He devoured the works of William Faulkner and Ernest Hemingway, drawn to their complex characters and lyrical prose. These literary influences would later shape his approach to acting, as he sought to bring depth and nuance to his performances. In Fairmount, James formed close bonds with his friends, including Bill Bast, who would later become a screenwriter and one of Dean's closest confidants. Together, they explored the countryside, sharing stories and dreams that would eventually take them to the bright lights of New York City and beyond. The summers were spent working on the Winslow farm, where James developed a strong work ethic and a deep appreciation for the land. As we explore the early life of James Dean, it's clear that his small-town upbringing, marked by both joy and tragedy, laid the foundation for his future success. The influences of his family, teachers, and community helped shape his artistic vision, while the historical context of his time imbued him with a sense of social awareness and empathy. With his unique blend of vulnerability and intensity, Dean was poised to take the world by storm. In 1951, James Dean arrived in New York City with a suitcase full of dreams and a passion for acting. He enrolled in the Actors Studio, where he studied under the legendary Lee Strasberg, who would become a mentor and father figure to him. The Actors Studio was a hotbed of creative talent, and Dean was surrounded by aspiring actors, including Marlon Brando and Marilyn Monroe. Dean's early days in New York were marked by struggle and perseverance. He worked as a busboy, a janitor, and even a Christmas tree salesman to make ends meet while he auditioned for roles on stage and screen. His big break came in 1952 when he landed a small part in the Broadway production of See the Jaguar, which was followed by a role in the television series Studio One. Dean's experience on stage and screen helped him develop his craft, and he soon began to attract attention from critics and casting directors. In 1953, he appeared in the Broadway production of The Immoralist, which earned him critical acclaim and recognition within the industry. His performance caught the eye of Elia Kazan, who would later direct him in East of Eden. As Dean's career began to take off, he found himself drawn to the world of method acting, which emphasized immersing oneself in the character's emotions and experiences. This approach resonated deeply with Dean, who had experienced his own share of trauma and loss in his early life. He became fascinated with the works of Konstantin Stanislavski, which would later influence his approach to acting. In 1953, Dean made his way to Los Angeles, where he began to audition for film roles. His first major break came when he was cast as Cal Trask in Elia Kazan's East of Eden, a role that would earn him an Academy Award nomination and cement his status as a rising star. As we explore the remarkable achievements of James Dean, it's clear that his early experiences on stage and screen laid the foundation for his future success. From his struggles as a young actor in New York to his breakout roles on Broadway and in Hollywood, Dean's determination and passion for his craft are an inspiration to us all. The story of Cal Trask, a troubled young man struggling to find his place in the world, resonated deeply with Dean, who drew on his own experiences of loss and longing to bring the character to life. With his iconic performance in East of Eden, James Dean solidified his position as one of Hollywood's most exciting new talents. His next role, in Nicholas Ray's Rebel Without a Cause, would further cement his status as a cultural icon, capturing the angst and rebellion of a generation. In 1955, James Dean was at the height of his fame, having just completed filming on Rebel Without a Cause, a movie that would cement his status as a cultural icon. Directed by Nicholas Ray, the film told the story of Jim Stark, a troubled teenager struggling to find his place in the world. Dean's performance was deeply personal, drawing on his own experiences of loss and longing to bring the character to life. The film's success was immediate, with audiences and critics alike praising Dean's nuanced and intense performance. He became a household name, synonymous with rebellion and nonconformity. His next role, in George Stevens's Giant, would further solidify his position as one of Hollywood's most exciting new talents. Giant was an epic drama that explored themes of racism, classism, and social justice in 1950s Texas. Dean played Jet Rink, a poor ranch hand who strikes it rich after discovering oil on his land. The film was a massive production, with a star-studded cast including Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson. Tragically, James Dean's life was cut short before the release of Giant. On September 30th, 1955, he was involved in a fatal car accident while driving his Porsche 50 Spider on Highway 466 in California. He was just 24 years old. Dean's death sent shockwaves through the film industry and beyond. He had become an icon to millions of young people around the world, and his passing was met with widespread grief and tributes. In the years that followed, Dean's legacy only grew as his films continued to inspire new generations of actors, directors, and fans. Today, James Dean is remembered as one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history, a true original who brought a unique intensity and vulnerability to his performances. His influence can be seen in countless actors and filmmakers who have followed in his footsteps, from Marlon Brando to Leonardo DiCaprio. As we look back on Dean's remarkable life and career, it's clear that he left an indelible mark on American cinema. His passion, creativity, and commitment to his craft continue to inspire us all, and his legacy will endure for generations to come. With his iconic performances in East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant, James Dean remains an eternal symbol of rebellion, nonconformity, and the power of the human spirit. Thank you for joining me on this podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed exploring the remarkable story of this Hollywood legend. That's all for today's Star Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Casey Gold, reminding you to keep shooting for the stars.